Hello, everyone. I'm not even wearing my headphones. I can't hear you. Hi, everyone. How are you? I am Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. Hello. How are you all doing? What is exciting? And what is happening? I mean, I've got things to tell you all, but I don't know if you have things to tell me. We're not talking to you, so you don't. No. Well, but I know. See, Krellin, you are correct that you're not actually talking to me with audibly, so I can't actually hear you, but I feel like I could be able to hear you. Hey, Barantor and Krellin and Ice Bunny. I know, it's weird though, because I feel like I should be able to hear you, although I think that would probably be super overwhelming. Hey, everyone. Hey, Falcon, Sea Spider, all the folks, how are you doing? Hey, how are you? It's Wednesday summer stream. So it's Wednesday. We're gonna read some Atlanta Nights today, and then starting around 7:30, we've got Gamer Stories. And I'm very excited to have DSB221, who hangs out in chat, but who is also one of my former students coming in to be here for the Gamer Stories, and is like a Wednesday summer stream, which is like Wednesday Summer Slam, but there's way less wrestling, which I suppose is too bad. Like, we should probably have more wrestling. If we had more wrestling, then hey, B Boodle, how are you? If we had more wrestling, that would probably make the Wednesday Summer stream more exciting. I don't know. Okay, it would be exciting if I'm just sitting here streaming like this, like a normal person, and then like a wrestler just like does a flying tackle from off screen, and I mean that would be exciting. I feel off center, you know? I feel a little off center here. Better. Yes. Hey, Jer. Do you have lots of stuff to talk about again today? So it's interview, but no terrible prose. No, I only have a little bit of stuff to talk about today. Is there less wrestling, says Barantor? You wrestled with the thought of organizing. I did. I wrestled with my wrist stretches. I did. And I'm probably going to be doing just some more wrist stretches subtly off the screen at some point in time. Where is GURP Supers? Oh, GURPS, it's right here, because it's all organized. So if you want GURPS 4th edition Supers, it's right here after space, but before thaumatology. If you want GURPS 3rd edition Supers, do I own GURPS 3rd edition Supers? I don't. Oh, hey. Oh, wait. Vampire the Masquerade. My Vampire the Masquerade book is actually in storage, but I do have over there GURPS. Where is it? Technomancer, Transmit Space, Traveler. There's GURPS Vampire the Masquerade right over there. So, you know, you can play it in GURPS if you want. It's just right over there if you wanted to. Hey, Cyclonus. You know, the thing is, Krellin, this is the weird, the contradiction that is my life. It's the weird contradiction. Atomica. Hey, Atomica. I can play anything in GURPS though. So, and I have news about GURPS too. So here's what I wanted to tell you. I like four color superheroes is not like my main genre, but I was just thinking about the games I've played, like the systems that I own that are probably sitting in storage and whatnot, and I realized I have played not every, but probably a super majority of all the superhero RPGs that have come out. I mean, I've played Marvel, DC, Mutants and Masterminds, multiple editions, Champions, Aberrant, Old Mutant Masterminds, New Mutants and Masterminds, GURP Supers, Villains and Vigilantes, Mutants and Villains and Vigilantes 1, Villains and Vigilantes, Mutants and Masterminds 1, Mutant Masterminds the D20 version, DC, Marvel, Champions, GURP Supers. I haven't yet played Aberrant. I haven't yet played Masks, but ooh, Wild Talents. Yeah, so like I've played like a surprisingly huge number of superhero games, despite that not being my preferred genre, right? Ice Bunny, what were you doing at the bookstore? Also, so here's the thing. Wasn't there, I really feel like there was an early version of Mutants and Masterminds that wasn't, or did I take hallucinogens in the 60s and they're all coming back to me now? Which, is that the case? I need to tell you, also, just side note so you don't judge me, my mustache was totally on point early this morning. Ooh, come on up. Oh, I know what's happening. Come on in my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on in my house, I'm gonna give you everything. That was the one thing I didn't do. I didn't switch my audio to be record stream. I'm surprised that you were even able to hear me at all. But you can apparently hear me now, so we're fine, apparently. I burned some money on English books that are much cheaper than Danish ones. Oh. I need a facial hair. Oh. Yeah, no, what happened was that I had my mustache was totally on point this morning. Like, at the moment, like, my mustache has been going really good ever since I dyed it blue. Like, I think that killing it with bleach just gave it a little bit of, shape. Or either that or it's the fact that I'm conditioning it every single day post dyeing so that I can get my face together. But anyway, I went to the chiropractor today, which was very good. But when you go to the chiropractor, you put your face down in that little chiropractor chair, and it totally messed up my mustache. So, I wrote my paper 3 out of 10 pages done. Oh, that's amazing. Go, Ice Bunny. I've got things I got to do myself. I will do it. If you watched the recording of my D&D session from yesterday, you basically can't hear me. Oh, gotta talk to the DM about his audio settings. Yeah, I saw that you were doing that, and I was like, oh, I'm really excited to see Krone on a show. But yesterday was Tuesday, and I was out all day doing like physical therapy and all that business, and then I had Scum and Villainy. But I'm hoping I get to see you, Krellin, or at least hear you on one of these shows. I'm very excited for it. During my digging last winter, says Kulan, I looked at a Confederate general. Oh, it looked like a Confederate general. So good trimming that. Yeah. No, trimming is good. You can only hear me, still don't own a camera. Well, at least I could have heard you, and that would have been exciting, but apparently I can't even hear you. So let me know when you go again, and we hopefully can get those, not we, but your GM can get the audio settings fixed. Falcon says, I need to be doing more job hunting, but I'm glad to be hanging out here. Good, hang out with us. There was something I wanted to tell you. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did want to say, side note, I prefer pulp heroes. Like, I would be super happy to either play in or GM some like pulp level heroes, like the Shadow, or maybe I should do Capers. Oh, well, once we get I've got Scum and Villainy through July, but once July is over, then I can listen to you. I actually also have GURPS cliffhangers right over there. It's just over, because now everything's alphabetized, so I can tell you exactly where it is. It's just right over there. Right there. It's over there. But I do enjoy it. But I do the sound problem is only in the recording. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so then I'll just have to see you live. I want to sing a song for you all. That's okay. I just want you to know that I have a song in my head that has this line that cracks me up, and so I want to sing it for you because that's what we do here sometimes. But yes, I would enjoy a really nice, like, pulp superheroes. I would enjoy that. Like, I could do it. I should probably check out Capers, actually, to see what that's like. Anyway, I'm going to sing you a song. We've got things to do, but I'm going to sing you a song, just because I want you to know this line that I think is hilarious. So, first off, you have to know that it is, currently I think it's raining, but that it is hot and humid, and has been hot and humid all day, and it is going to be hot and humid again. Apparently it's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow, but then it's going to be 100 the day after, or something. I don't even understand what is happening. Don't even ask me. I don't know. Anyway, it has been too darn hot, and so then the song Too Darn Hot was in my head, but there's this one line in Too Darn Hot that really cracks me up. So I'm just going to sing that little bit to like lead into it so you know it. Just because, right? I mean, that's what we're going to do. It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. I'd like to coo with my baby tonight. And pitch the woo with my baby tonight. I'd like to coo with my baby tonight, pitch the woo with my baby tonight, but rather you with my baby tonight because it's too darn hot. According to the Kinsey report, every average man you know much prefers his lovey-dovey to court when the temperature is low. 'Cause when the thermometer goes way up and the temperature's sizzling high, Mr. Pants for romance is not. Because it's too darn hot. So anyway, break, right? I love that line, Mr. Pants for romance is not. Like, I just think that is hilarious, right? Right? Mr. Pants for romance is not. Because it's too darn hot. Like, I mean, that's good. I like that. Oh, it's a weird jump after the rain left over the hurricane. Yeah. Atomica, I don't know if I'll ever get used to New England weather. I don't think I will. Krellin, I think you're right. I should talk to Weather's manager and ask them to sort of fix this because I do not appreciate it. Hello, Striker City Mafia. Oh, right. Thank you, Falcon. It's great. I love all. What is so good about Cole Porter is that Cole Porter is like the king of the euphemisms. Like, his euphemisms are so good all the time, and he's got such a way with rhyme. He's got good rhymes. You're right. I don't have the right haircut to talk to the manager. I don't think I've got the range. I don't have the range. The problem, Atomica, I said I grew up in San Francisco and Oakland, where it's the same weather all year. I mean, it's different. Like, we do have, like, there is a difference between January and July. It's just that those differences are subtle and they change slowly over time. And you're like, ooh, it is now January. Should put on a heavier jacket because it is in the 40s. And then you're like, ooh, it's July. Better take off the heavier jacket because it's in the high 70s. And like, you just kind of sit in a nice range, and like, you know, that's all. Cyclona says, I said hi, then I realized that I needed to get ready for my Japanese lesson before I could hang out. That's fair. But could she woo, could she coo, could she coochie coochie coo? Californians are spoiled, and then we get earthquakes. So, you know, like, I feel like there's a trade-off. I lecture on slags, old ores, and glory holes. Euphemisms abound. Kulan. That's amazing, and I honor it, and I love it. I think that is great. The quote I've heard used my entire life is, if you don't like the weather in New England, wait 5 minutes. And I feel like that's true, because it was super hot and then it was raining. I don't even know. I don't know. I wanted other things to tell you. I had other things. Oh, yes. Thank you, Barantor. You know what? I appreciate you reminding me the things that I wanted to tell you, because I will forget them. The weather is so nice, but then the earth tries to swallow you. And that is true. They don't say that in San Francisco, Krellin. They never say that in San Francisco because the weather just doesn't do that there. So they don't say that in Los Angeles either, also because the weather doesn't do that there. So, like, they say that in many places. I've seen it snow during a thunderstorm. What? Why? So, GURPS news. I have some GURPS news. So, you know, I've been very concerned about the whole, like, Frog God Games and Bill Webb situation. Thunder snow. I don't even know. But I just read a Facebook post by the woman who Bill Webb attacked at PaizoCon, and she says that she does not want boycotts. So I think this means that I can do GURPS on stream. I feel like I can, if the woman who's at the center of the space is like, I'm doing a thing, we're doing a thing, let us do the thing, then I will let them do the thing, which means I can go back to GURPS. which I am excited about. Speaking of which, there was a little thing on Twitter, and it was so funny, where somebody was complaining, some kind of historical reenactor perhaps was saying it doesn't make sense that in Dungeons and Dragons armor makes you harder to hit, it should reduce damage so that you can like then also aim for chinks in armor, and why can't you do that? And this other person was like, oh no, I'm still glad that I bought Zweihander as well, because I'm gonna look at it, because I'm really excited to look at all the things. So this other person was like, hey, if you know GURPS does that, and then but the person who said GURPS does that, their question was, well, how can we make Dungeons and Dragons do this thing? And like, you saw it on Twitter, right? And I was like, you don't make Dungeons and Dragons do that, because that's just not how the game is set up. Like, I don't even see how you would do it. You know, like, don't look at my shelf. I just unplugged my PC, and Xbox OPEX is feeling real now. Oh, OpX. No, don't look at my bookshelf. Don't look at it. I just want to tell you, I love that line, Mr. Pants for Romance is not, because I just think that is like, it's like such a great internal rhyme, and it's so good. It is so good. I do have a show and tell. I got Operation Exile. I got the Genesis book because, you know, it is all what everyone's talking about. Everyone is talking about it. Unfortunately, they did not have the dice. They didn't have the range. They didn't have the dice for it. What is this? Is there an app? Huh. Apparently there's an app. But I will get the dice. And then I got Realms of Terranoth, the setting book that goes with it. And so now I will have the Genesis system, so I can try that out. I just don't have the dice. I don't have the dice. I don't have the dice. I don't have the dice, darling. I just don't have the dice. I mean, I love you, but I just don't have the dice. So it makes, thank you. I do, it's missing a couple of things. I don't have everything in there yet. Some things are still in storage. And once I move again to a place where I can settle in, then I will unpack everything, and it will be glorious. It will be glorious. Oh my God, says Levi. People were asking about level 20 PvP with D&D today. Apparently, D&D is a cooperative monster killing system and is very bad at PvP is the wrong answer. But I just don't have the dice. But I love Fantasy Flight. The funny dice annoy me a bit. Well, that's the thing. I want to know if they'd annoy me. Would they? This is Cyclonus. This is why I want to try it. Whenever there's something that I'm like, will this annoy me? Will I like it? Will I not like it? Then I want to go and try it, because I don't know. Like, there's some things that I'm suspicious of. Oh, they should have a conversion table for the dice in there too. Oh, good. Okay. So that means I can use regular dice before I get the fancy dice. Also, I do like excuses to buy dice. So I think the thing is with me, I was thinking there are things that I'm skeptical of. Do you know what I mean? That I'm like, I don't know about that in terms of gaming. And so whenever there's something that I think to myself, I don't know. Yeah, right. I have the fate dice too. So whenever I'm like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that's okay. Whenever I get suspicious of something, like, I don't know if I've always done this, but I think I've done this for quite some time. If there's some sort of gaming thing that I'm suspicious of, then I feel like I need to go play it, right? And maybe I won't, you know, maybe I'll see if I can play it at Gen Con or some other place. But I will try these things. And I think that if I do that, I'm often interestingly surprised when there's something I'm suspicious of that I'm like, I don't know how that works. And then I try it. And then I think, okay. So, I mean, I think the great example of that would be Cthulhu Confidential, that I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about how this system works. How's this going to go? Do you know what I mean? I was very skeptical of it. I was very skeptical of Cthulhu Confidential. And then it turns out that I was like, okay, no, this works. Like, you can do this. Cyclona says, I mean, I like the dice, but as a GM, forcing my players to either buy dice or buy enough dice that they can use annoys me. Oh. I think they do have a die app, right? I think they do. I think with me, it comes with not having access to special dice in a rural area and thinking back at that. That's why, yeah. I mean, I've always loved D6 systems because you can get them, right? Like if I want to play a D6, I can do that just from, with the dice from Monopoly because it's better. So let's see, is there Genesis? That's not how you spell that. Is there an app? They say that there's an app, but I don't know what the app is called. Genesis. I am not seeing Genesis Fantasy Flight. That's not how you spell flight. No. So look, apparently there's some app, but I don't know what it is. No. All the things they're showing me are like random weird things that are both video games and weight loss, and Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't even know. It's in there, but I'll get it. Yeah, I mean, I love the D6. So you can just get those dice anywhere. But do you remember back in the day when nobody had the exciting polyhedrals and a set of them came in the red box for D&D, and if you wanted to play, right, you'd have to get these polyhedrals, and now everybody sort of just like does it. Cyclona says, I'm running L5R and they do have an app, but players can be fickle about. Oh, well, Cyclonus, this is true. Players can be very fickle about not having physical dice. That is true. I had to get a ride to a mall 20 miles away to go to a Walden Books to get a 7-dice set. Oh, yeah. Now, D6, they just don't have the range. They don't have the range. I mean, I love them. I love them, darling. I love them, but if they don't have the range, darling, they don't have the range. Yeah. Oh, the Roll20 app. Speaking of the Roll20 app, I've got to figure out the best ways to do cards and get them to be the right size. This is what I need to work on. My wife, just me right now, is this why you hoard dice and like them so much? Yes, my precious. Atomica says, I remember buying my first tube of dice. They were Magic the Gathering dice, but I just loved that they were different colors. Yeah. If you have my curse rolling ability, no type of dice would make a difference, says Kulan. No, you have the curse of Will Wheaton. There was something else I wanted to show you all. What was it? I showed you my Genesis. I sang you Too Darn Hot, at least a little bit of it, because there's a great line in it. I feel like, because I know that you can add cards, and I've added the tokens for Cthulhu Confidential. Those are cards. And I have them as cards, but I tried to but right now I have the regular cards, because in Cthulhu Confidential you give people cards. I tried to make them cards, but then they were just way too small, and so I made them tokens instead. And I made them tokens because it's easier to find them, because I need to get specific ones, so that's why I have them as tokens. But I wonder if I can make sure that the cards are a certain size, and I want to know this for Clockwork Dominion. That's the thing I want to do. I now have a dice bag of moderate size, which depressingly is in a box in a storage space. I have a dice bag of moderate size, which is in one of my boxes that I have not yet unpacked, and I don't know where it is, and it's weirding me out. And I really want to find it because it's not with all the rest of the ones, and I really hope I did not lose my Royal Crown bag full of dice, because I've got 2 cubes of small D6s, I've got a bunch of different... I hope I didn't lose my D6s. I hope I didn't lose my dice bag, but I don't think I could have. I just packed everything up into boxes and then moved them from one dorm to the other dorm. So it should be in one of these boxes. It's just suspiciously not with all the rest of my game stuff. So it must have been put in a random box. I need to go through my boxes so I can find my dice. That's what I need to do. My wife still has her set of dice we bought together for our first RPG we did together. She saves them for special rolls. Baron Tor, that is so sweet. There should be space in the cards for height and width. Okay, I will look into that because I want them to be a good size. No, I'm talking about digital cards for Clockwork Dominion, because I want to see if I can run Clockwork Dominion online. Not right now, but like after Gen Con for maybe a one shot or something. But there would be things you'd have to do. Yes. Everyone uses Royal Crown. Mine is just a little black draw. Well, here's the thing about Royal Crown. It's actually quite large, so you can fit a lot of dice in there. And that is, you know, excellent. I would love to be able to fit a bunch of dice in my, you know, look, I'm going to tell you all, I'm very concerned about the fact that I can't find it. I also understand that I have not unpacked hardly anything. I have unpacked my gaming books, my board games, my clothes, and not all of my clothes. I have not unpacked, for example, my winter clothes, but I've unpacked most of my clothes that I need to go to work, underwear and that sort of a thing. And that's all I've unpacked. Right, like all the rest of my books are not unpacked. My CDs are not unpacked. My DVDs are not unpacked. My VHSs are not, like my media is not unpacked. I've not really unpacked all of my, and I've unpacked half of my toiletries, but just not all of my toiletries. And I've unpacked some of my stationary stuff, but again, not all of it. So yeah, Barantor knows the important things are unpacked. VTM Vampire uses D10s and all my D10s are in that bag. Atomica says, yeah, that's right. And they do, and they also have a relatively flat bottom, so no accidental rollovers. Yes, they're very nice. I did that with my Power Glove. It was literally in the very last box I had to check. Like, I went through everything. It was like, why is that? Like, why do they always lurk and hide in the last place? But I only just moved here moved into the new dorm in January, and then I was in the middle of the semester and just so busy, and now it's the summer and I haven't really had time to unpack, but I'm also not excited about unpacking because I feel like I'm only going to be here for one school year. Like, I feel like I'm only going to be here for 12 more months, like 11, 12 months. And do I really want to unpack everything just to pack them all up again? But I also feel like I should not leave an entire room full of boxes. That's all. Krellin was in the same apartment for 13 years and never fully unpacked. Yeah. And you also can get used to looking at boxes. You can. And I just know that there are things in those boxes that I do need to get to. Like, there's a book that belongs to a student that I need to give back to that student. And there are some books that I'm going to need for the French Resistance game. So I need to find my history books. Yeah. I found my poor little Zapper first, and I was like, you are the one I want. I felt so abandoning. Oh, no, you're right. I should just throw a cloth, right? I just throw a cloth over it, and that's fine. Meanwhile, says Barantor, I've long since unpacked, and now I need to get rid of a lot of clutter. And I feel like if I can fully unpack, then I can actually decide what I want to get rid of. But let's be upfront. I find it very unlikely that I'm going to unpack everything because I am also moving in a year. And I just know that I do not have the motivation to fully unpack. But I also know that, all right, I want to talk to you about the things that I own. I do not own a lot of furniture. I do not own a lot of knickknacks, or I don't know what regular people own. Things. All I own is media, but that is like, that's what I own. Atomica, I've basically lived out of boxes since roughly 2006. Hey, no judgment. And for Ice Bunny's apartment is a work in progress. Dead bodies and messes. Is there anything a cloth can't clean up? Getting rid of stuff is for people who have too much stuff. And see, for me, I have Ice Bunny, Trooper, ask yourself, do I want to KonMari or do I want to be happy? See, this is the other thing. I actually am still kind of living that military lifestyle. It's true. Like, I don't have things on the walls. This, you can't see it now. You can see it later. But like the thing that was given to me by Rocket Fox is like one of the I only have 2 things on all my walls in the entire apartment. And I have no plants. Like, there are all these things that I don't have that make a house more homey, and I do not have them. And I will get there. My entire life fits in a 5x10 space, and I still feel like I have too much. Sea Spider Mix says, so I've already told Levi, but thanks for the celestial suggestion for my new healing character. It's a real fun playing it. Oh, good. I'm so excited. Good. Levi says, I've been purging slowly this year. It got bad last year when I had paths and stuff. I've got my living areas and hallway stuff cleared now. This is good. What do normal people own? My house is so full of Transformers and G.I. Joes. This is true, Krell, and KonMari is about being happy. This is true. She doesn't want you to throw out things you love. She only goes to help people who specifically ask for help decluttering. Yes. What I need to get rid of, to be honest, oh, thanks, Critwitch. This is the Eye of Horus, and it is also the left eye, which is the moon, and I'm a Cancer, which is the heavenly body for Cancer is the moon. So this is like, oh, and I'm also left-handed, right? So it is like I get the moon in there for being a Cancer. It's the left because I'm left-handed. This is also my eye because of the little funky eyebrow, although you really can't see it much anymore. My eyebrow sort of tamed a bit, but like I've got this kind of a funny little thing on my eyebrow that like this little part of my eyebrow growing up has always sort of gone up a little bit. It's mellowed out as I got older, but I've got this little kind of funny eyebrow thing. Thank you, Krellin. This is true. Oh my gosh. One of the things I need to do is that I've got a bunch of clothes that I can't, that are like I don't, like with clothes, so the thing about clothes is I don't go shopping for clothes very often. And so I still have things that are 20 years old, et cetera, going on 30 years old now. I still have like sweaters and whatnot that are 30 years old. And I need to just go through and toss clothes that I can't wear anymore. That's the thing. That's a project I need to do. I need to get rid of some clothes. This is true. I don't think all the creators are left-handed. I think we just pay attention to it when it's the case. Yeah, it's where it's like, whoosh. There was another thing I wanted to tell you. I feel like I don't want to miss something. Before we start, I want to make sure. I really enjoyed running the Cthulhu Confidential for you all. That was great fun. Oh, Trooper, says Barontor, since GURPS is okay now, we also need to talk about the fantasy trip sometime. We do need to talk about the fantasy trip. This is true. There's so much I want to do. And also there's so little time to do it in. So little time, so much I want to do. It is Wednesday, the 17th, right? Gen Con is coming up in 2 weeks. Krellin, watch, Krellin, I will give you no spoilers, but watch the last 15 minutes. Some choices were made. That's all. Oh no, Critwitch, I'm sorry you didn't feel well Sunday. Oh no. Hey, happy birthday in 10 days, Jer. Woo. Yeah, I will just say, I like to think that externally I was giving you good neutral GM face, but internally I was like, whoa, wow, what? That was me internally. I was like, oh my goodness, what choices are being made right now? Okay, well, that's, choices. Maybe there were, Critwitch, I won't spoil, but choices were made. You know how people make choices? Choices were made. I remember getting to Officer What's His Face telling her about the pictures. Yes, okay, good. So you got to all the choices, Krellin. You got to the choices. Yeah, the pictures. Yeah, so you don't have much more. You probably have like 5 minutes or so, Krellin. You're probably good. But those choices, they were great. I'm so excited about coming back to find out what happens now that I've got ideas. They were very Lovecraftian choices. Cyclonus, when you have time, I will not be able to run any one-shots in August because my August is, Gen Con, and then I'm going actually on a vacation for the first time ever right before the school year starts. So that is really stressful. And so I've got to get like a whole bunch of stuff done before I leave. So like August is going to be madness, but I'm hoping I can do something maybe in September. I looked up Copenhagen Pride 19 today, and the parade is on the 17th, and that's Oma's birthday. Something in the universe wanted me not to be sad on that day. Oh, that's good. Good. Jackie Dash did really well figuring out what her character would do, and it was fun. Yes. I will tell you. Can I tell you something? Just here. Hang out with me. Just like, I feel like I want to whisper it to you, but you know, we're on the internet. What's amazing, so I ran it with, what's interesting is that I was really impressed with Jackie Dash's brain. I can't tell you. Pretty sure Vivian needs to pick up a yellow suit now. ASMR with me. Okay, we'll tell you. So I was so impressed with Jackie Dash's mind. She was on it. Do you know what I mean? Like there were a bunch of little mysteries and like little details that were happening in the game. Like some of it was like just like little details, like the people there, like the men who are waiting are there clearly because they need a job, or all these little things. She's like, oh, and she was like so fast. She was like, oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. Like she got all these little details real fast. And I was like, ooh, nice. And she picked up on all these little subtle things without me even need to say anything. She's got a really good mind for a mystery is what I'm trying to tell you. That's all I want to say. Oh my gosh, Atomica, Jackie Dash is so cold. Oh my goodness. She had some amazing, like, she could throw shade. And I loved how she, like, whenever somebody could not do something for her, she was like, nope. Oh my goodness. Kulan, you and me both. September is that time of year, and I'm excited to do something in September. And I'm gonna try to figure out how to do it, because what I tend to like to do is run like a dry run of something before I do a full run of something. But I think I can probably figure out a way. You know what I mean? Like, I think I can figure out a way to do something. I'd love to do some kind of a one shot in September. That's what I want to do. I don't know what it will be. I don't know how it's going to work out, but that is what I want. Yeah, Krellin says, yeah, I was the one that pointed out that Vivian was bad at people who can't help her. And that is true, Krellin. That was a very good point. And that is true. It's because that's what it is. Like, if you can't help her, she's not interested in you at all. Oh, and then of course, what's so sad is that then sometimes those people could have helped her, but she already burned those bridges. Yeah. Woo, it was so good. We can ask if a day can get 30 hours. You can do all the things. Yeah. The mechanic's lunch. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that too. So much. I'm just gonna tell you, Crit Witch, I think it's really good, and I think that you will appreciate and enjoy what happened. So I'm gonna by the way, it is hot in here. So take off all your clothes. No, nobody take off their clothes. TOS. Well, I suppose you can take off. Y'all can take off your clothes. I can't see you. I just can't take off mine. Vivian, friend of Secretary's Dash. Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna read Atlanta Nights. Wait, is that everything? Yes. Okay. I hardly ever wear pants. Bandana time. All right, just a little bit of bandana. Just a little bit of bandana. So we're gonna read Atlanta Nights. We're gonna get in a good 45 minutes of Atlanta Nights. And here we go. We're reading Atlanta Nights chapter 11. And we're going to, which is, for those who do not know, it's hot and steamy because of Atlanta Nights. Atlanta Nights. You know, I probably am going to go back to GURPS for the arena because I just think GURPS does arena so well. I mean, I'll read Fantasy Trip and see if that might do better for the arena, but it'll either be Fantasy Trip if I like it, or GURPS for the arena. But I'm going to go back to the arena, and I'm going to go back to GURPS because I think it does so well. I love the way that they do combat, and especially for PvP. I think it's just really good, and I think it's really, like, I think it's very satisfying Yeah, so I think I'm going to compare them. I'm going to compare the two, and we'll see how that goes. I might mix it. Like, I might do a mix, or I might do a fantasy trip arena, and then do. Ooh, you know what I can do? I have got props from Cthulhu Confidential that I can use. Yeah, because it is hot in here. Yeah, so like maybe I'll do a fantasy trip arena and also a GURPS arena. I'll think about it, but I really want to do some arenas for all of the battle buddies, because I'm really excited about doing that. And I really like. I want to do it so bad. I haven't run an arena in so long, and I miss it. I want to do it. Fantasy trip might be easier for newer folks to learn. But one of these days, you gotta learn. I was thinking about doing GURPS in stages, right? Just GURPS Light, and then GURPS Basic, and then GURPS Martial Arts. So 3 tiers with 3 different levels of detail. So, you know, and I feel like I'm gonna check it out. All right, so Atlanta Nights, right? It's this novel, and it was made to be really awful. And we are in chapter 11. Right, like, yeah, Fantasy Trip is almost GURPS Light, although I think it's also different in its own way, but maybe not different enough. I need to shave. Kulan says, now careful not what you do to that fan. Some of us are versed in phenology. This is fair. The book is chapter 11. The book is bankrupt, so it's over. It never ends. Kulan phenology. Fans and handkerchiefs. So, chapter 11. The nightclub was the Blue Velvet. It was noisy and hot, and Callie was thinking how the sweat made her look hot. The heat of the Atlanta last night made it even hotter inside. Bruce didn't like the Blue Velvet because it was full of old people who thought it was still cool place. It was still a cool place, only it wasn't anymore. He did think Callie looked hot. Do you want to dance, he said. Sure. Bruce wasn't hot, and thought if he tired Callie out, he might get a better deal on the merging companies. Callie thinks Bruce is studly looking, and she'd like to dance anyway, so she said yes. They danced for a long time, until she says she was tired and they could sit down at a table. Now, she felt really tired, but was sure the sweat made her look really hot to Bruce. She smoothed her glossy black tresses. No more distraction. You didn't put any drugs in this drink, did you? She said. She thought Bruce might try to take advantage of her to get a better deal on the merger. Everyone is so hot. Chapter 11 doesn't mean it's over. It means it's president. Oh, snap. Snap. Speaking of the merger, Bruce asked, what did you want to do about that? He has to shout over the noise. Please note, verb tenses are all over the place. Oh, I mean, apparently Callie has black tresses right now. One doesn't know, but the verb tenses are all over the place in this chapter, just so you know. Speaking of the merger, Bruce asked, what do you want to do about that? He has to shout over the noise of the band. The band was a retro 1980s punk rock band. They were a local group, and they looked like high school boys. Callie thought one of them looked pretty hunky, but not as hunky as Bruce. I think it's a good idea, she whispered. What couple's a million? Bruce decided he should think about it and said, I'm going to have to think about it. Did you want more? Well, sure, of course I want more. Why would I want less? He really thought he could get a lot more. He wasn't thinking just about that one kind of merger either. It's pretty warm in here. Maybe later we could go somewhere quieter and talk about the details. I don't actually know who's talking right now. It's a little unclear. Like what kind of details? Like who will run the merged company, for one thing. I sort of thought I would, and you'd be my second in command. Again, I have no idea who's talking. I think we'll have to think about that, but I think we should dance some more right now. They danced for a long time. While they were dancing, Bruce asked Callie about her husband. Did you wear him out dancing like this? You mean, like dance so much until he had a heart attack or something? Yeah. No. Bruce laughed. I almost died once. I heard about that. I did a lot of research on you before I agreed our companies should merge. It was a car crash. You seem pretty well recovered. I have some pretty nasty scars, though. I was 16, and I run the car into a pole. Also, he wasn't 16. It was just a few chapters ago. I'll have to see them sometime. Maybe later, if we go somewhere quieter to talk about the merger. I'm a little bit unclear, like, when this car accident happened. Was he 16? Was he 20? It's unclear. She spills her drink all over him. Oh, I'm so sorry. I guess we'll have to go now. No, it's okay. I can dry off with these napkins. He wiped at his shirt. Given this book, he might have been 16 a couple... This is true, Krillin. He might have been 16 a couple of chapters ago. It is really unclear what age anybody is at any given time. He was starting to get hot, and it made him feel... And it kind of made he feels cooler in a way. Besides, he wasn't ready to talk about details of the merger yet. He wanted to make sure Callie was more tired of her first. See, that all dry? He said. By the way, I think it's pretty cool what your company does. Transatlantic shipping is pretty interesting. Age is just like a number, man. Also, grammar is just like a number. I'm not quite sure. No, yeah, that's more tireder. Tireder. That's exactly how it's spelled as well. More tireder. Yes, it will be good to be merged with your software company. I know you make a lot of money with your internet multi-level marketing software. With the money you make from all those people sending you money and from my shipping, we'll be able to take trips all over the world all the time. 16 and taking nurses to prom. Besides, she thought he was pretty studly, and if it didn't work out after a while, they could unmerge their companies too. You're older than a lot of the women I talk to, he said. And he meant it. My husband said the opposite thing when he was alive. He said I was younger than the people his age. But I learned a lot from him about running business. Nobody thought I could run it after he died, but I showed them. This is some straight up Vogon poetry, dear God. It is Atomica. Oh my goodness, pretty studly. Bruce thinks she has a pretty good body for someone her age. She was probably the same age as his mother, only his mother wasn't very good looking like Callie. She had a voluptuous body, even if she wasn't twice as old as I. Well, it's getting late. Do you think we should stop dancing now and talk about business? She really wanted to get the big deal finished tonight and not have to involve all the lawyers. I don't know. Bruce wasn't sure if she was tired enough. I know, also, not the mom, also, in an earlier chapter, she was like only 20 years old, but now she's much older. It's really unclear how old she's supposed to be or what. Bruce wasn't sure if she was tired enough. Since she was older, she was probably wiser. Even though he was well-to-do himself from his software company, she was twice his age and had probably learned a lot more about business than he did, so he has to be careful of any tricks she might pull. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Grinny Weasley! Grinny! She's only as old as she feels, and her feelings swing wildly. This is fair. Grinny, welcome in. I'm so happy to see you, because also we're reading Atlanta Nights, and I feel like this book was made for you, Grinny. Hello, Mr. Game and Frog. Grinny, this book is made for you. This is the book for you. For you. So she has all these tricks, right? Yes. Are you pretty tired? We could go back to my place. It's pretty hot in here, she said. Then let's have another drink, since you spilled that one before you didn't get to finish it. She does swings wildly in multiple ways. It is true. Okay, but just one more. Could we get another drink? Bruce asked the bartender. She was pretty hot too, and more Bruce's type, since she was younger. Bruce liked her red hair. Callie's hair was black, which was okay with Bruce, but he liked red better. The bartender was maybe exactly 22. He knew she had to be more than 21 to serve. He thought he should order more drinks just to have her come over to where they were sitting at the bar. This book is killing brain cells. You know, Grinny, but you're here with us now for Atlanta Nights. Because, you know, it is, here. It is Atlanta Nights. Boom. Here you are. Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks, Callie said too. And you're welcome too. Bruce liked the way the bartender said, you're welcome. He was here with Callie and thought he should pay attention to her instead. They were here to talk about the merger, was another reason. We could merge our offices together too. That might be nice. Callie didn't like her office all that well. It was on the top floor of the nation's bank building in downtown. That's being the tallest building in Atlanta. The view was good, but she didn't like how long it took to get up to the elevator every time. I don't really like my office, she said. Bruce is a creep. Bruce is a creep. Levi, hey Gritty, don't worry. Knowing what happened before won't really help with what's happening now. This is also true because it's very inconsistent. Narrative through lines is not really a thing that is happening. Actually, I feel like Krell is perhaps correct. Everyone in this book is a creep. I think that is true. Well, then we can use my off. Right now, Grinny, in case you want to know, Bruce Lucent, young, Sudley software developer, is in talks to merge his company with Callie Archer, the widow of old Henry Archer, and she has taken over his transatlantic shipping business since he died, and so they're in a discussion to merge their businesses. It sounds like it's a book for you, Grinny. Well, then we can all use my office. His office was back in California and had a lot of plants in it. Bruce thought it was cool that they hired someone to come in with a tank of water to water the plants, since they were real and not fake. It didn't look out over the city or anything, but he didn't know what kind of view Callie's office had anyway, so it didn't matter. Yeah, the book is a mess. You could jump in anywhere, because they also just order the chapters in whatever order they wanted, so, I mean, This book's about one blow to my head away from 50 Shades. Yes. I feel like this chapter is one of the best chapters ever. Maybe, I don't know if it's as good as the Fire and Ice chapter, but this one's brilliant. When we go to your place to talk about the merger, you can show me your scars. I bet you have impressive scars. From the car crash, yes, they are impressive. He sipped his beer. I could show you here, but I'd have to take off my shirt, and I don't think they allow that here. He smiled. Callie smiled too. She wanted to make sure she didn't get too drunk, so she finished this one, which was a scotch, and ordered a beer. You don't get as drunk from a beer. She held her drinks pretty good anyway, because she learned to drink scotches from her husband, who had been a heavy drinker. It was too. Bad Bruce was, I see what's happening. Fire and Ice, hot and cold. I see what is happening. There's punctuation problems. It was too. Bad Bruce was playing hard to get about the merger. He was wondering if she had enough to drink yet so he could get a good deal. She was thinking they were having one of those awkward silent times in a conversation, and she should say something. If we did merge, what will that do to the depreciation, do you think? Bruce didn't know anything about depreciation and was now getting worried. You're not thinking of backing out, are you? Sorry, that's not what is written. You're not thinking of backing out, being you? No, I don't think so. The depreciation thing is worrying you, I think. It's always a worry, isn't it? Show you your scars, which is code talk for some of your no-no zone. Everything is code for show me your no-no zone, Grinny. That is also true. Well, it's different on shipping than on software, I'm pretty sure. We'll make a lot of money if we merge, though. We both know that. Bruce stretched. She thought she could see the outline of his scars under his tight black shirt that was the same color as her hair. He was afraid he might be getting tired, and it was probably time to move things along. Merging their companies was going to be a good idea, no matter what the objections he told her. I think merging will be a good idea no matter what, don't you? He was a little worried about driving, because he'd had his car crash at night like this, and it was when he was maybe a little drunk, so he was hoping he could drive okay. In this book, it's the yes zone, I suspect. Kulan, this is true. In this book it is, hey Levi, wink, let me buy you a drink. Wink. And also, all the clothing is tight. I really worry about circulation. It's like that speech from the Dead Poets Society. Oh, no. I love it. They would really make a lot of money if they merged. He had done a lot of mergers, and this was going good. His accountant would be really happy with this merger. Do you want another glass of wine, or do you think we should go somewhere quieter? I can hardly hear you in here. She could hardly hear him either. So they went back to his place and hammered out the details of the merger and signed the papers. Then that's it. We're all merged. She tossed him with the champagne glasses. She toasted him with the champagne glasses. That wasn't all that got merged that night. They had wild sex. End of chapter 11. I'm really glad we got the details of their merger and all of the I think it was all of the ways. We're all merged. All merged. That's it. We're all merged. I really like how the author clearly has a really good sense of how business works. It was really clear to me that the author understands business. And they merged with their no-no zones. The first with the left eye. The second at the right eye. No, Baronto, you're right. She just doesn't have the merge. I'm sorry, love. Sorry, I love you, but doesn't have the merge. Doesn't have the merge. This is as bad as that god-awful Harry Potter fanfic. I like to think it's worse in the best way. This is my thought. I think it's the worst in the best way. This is I think they interviewed a lot of business people to get that chapter realistic. Right, thanks. I got it for like, it's like a super cheap fan, and I got it for Stella, the occult loving friend of Vivian Sinclair. It is very worser. It is very worser. Chapter 12. Okay, here we go. Bruce Lucent limped out onto the patio in the hot light of the late afternoon sun, carrying a tray where a mound of freshly chopped up hamburger gleamed red and wet like a pile of bloody spaghetti, and put the tray down on the gleaming glass patio table with its matching set of 6 wrought-up iron chairs, where Penelope Urbain sat with her long legs as graceful as the fronds of a willow tree, crossed in a provocative pose that made him think about last night and the passion they'd shared hour after hour, till the turgid light of dawn folded down over Atlanta like the petals of a bloody rose, and they were both too exhausted to move another muscle. Period. That was one long sentence, my friend. You know, Trooper, says Krellin, sometimes bad things are just bad, but I love it. Barontor says, my wife thinks that given the writers of this book, they've had to have written it out normally, then gone back and undone punctuation and just rewritten it badly. That's entirely possible. Grinny says, I have a friend named Dipper, and I was super confused about why they were going to Taco Bell. Don't go looking. You don't want to know. What's with all the blood? I don't know. I don't know what's with all the blood, DSP. Our guest for today. I know, that was a run-on sentence. That was a... I had to try to get the whole sentence out, and because in one breath, because, I'm just saying. Where's my period? Oh, there it is. Maybe he thought as they sank into sleep, like 2 swimmers who just won a race across the English Channel. Just maybe things were going to work out after all. Maybe they could get it together at last, seeing her now, as beautiful and fresh as a sunny morning in May. Even though it was August, his heart skipped a bat. It's not summer in May. It's fine. In my writing group, we have days where we have challenges just to write badly. It hurts my soul. Oh, that's really interesting, Falcon. I want to know what your bad writing is like. Is it as good as this bad writing? Hey, babe, Bruce offered. Want to grill some hamburgers? The happy expression fell off Penelope Urbain's finely featured visage. She pressed her slender hand to her moist red lips and shook her lustrous red hair back over her shoulders, bouncing like the vibrant mane of a thoroughbred horse. Is that meat? She gasped, her eyes, the color of a warm blue sky in springtime, falling onto the tray. Red meat? Also, wanting grills from hamburgers is obviously clearly code. Yeah, babes, Bruce affirmed proudly. Bona fide 100% sirloin. Penelope fluttered, her cornflower blue eyes still stuck to the tray. It's really grisly. Honey, don't you like hamburgers? Bruce wanted to know, crestfallen. That beef is chocked full. By the way, chocked is misspelled. Chocked full of protein. Bruce grinned contagiously. And we could both use some protein after last night, if you know what I mean. Yeah, babes. It's right, get the words on the page. But don't you remember, Bruce? Penelope reproached, her sapphire orbs now grasping his. I'm a vegetarian. Bruce's lungs ricocheted with shock, causing him to let out a gasp, and remorse swept over him in a stunning tide. Darn, he exclaimed to himself, how could I forget that? Wow, babe, Bruce stumbled. I'm really sorry. I guesses should have picked up a carrot or something while I was at the store. It's okay, honey. Penelope tried to smile forgivingly, but he could see the betrayal in her limpid azure eyes, exactly like she said it out loud. I'm not really all that hungry. I'll just watch while you and Isidore eat. He is coming, isn't he? No one knows what you mean, Bruce. Shut up, says Krellin. And there's contagious grinning. First, her eyes were stuck to a tray. Now they grab. Like, her eyes are very dangerous. They clearly have, like, corporeality. Krellin wonders what color Penelope's eyes are. It's unclear. I wish they'd mention. And I do wonder how many times will they describe her eyes. I don't know. So maybe Bruce's best friend, but also maybe secret rival, Isidore might be there. Oh, so he's coming, isn't he? He's en route right now. I have no idea what that word means. Good, I was hoping he would, she commented softly. Bruce Lucent put the tray down on the table. He began to shape the hamburger patties, shaping the meat into round, circular shapes with his strong hands. Usually, he caressed the hamburger like a lover, loving the way the soft red meat squished yieldingly between his hands, and the sensuous sucking sounds it made when he pulled his hands away once he got the round shapes just the way he wanted them, not too thick and not too thin, not too wide and not too small, but just right, like the Three Bears, except it was hamburger and not porridge. I don't. Yeah, it's true. If we drank each time, we would be poisoned and die. He was an artist with hamburger. Everyone said so. But today, it wasn't good like usual. The way Penelope's exquisite features had fallen when her eyes swooped down onto the meat had taken roots inside his brain like the tentacles of a poisonous black spider. Spiders don't have tentacles unless they're Cthulhu. It's fine. I let her down again, he berated his... I know, it's so good. It's so bad. I let her down again, he berated himself, savagely. I betrayed her. Again. Why didn't I remember she's a vegetarian? He ruminated to himself worriedly. This must be the 4th time I've forgotten, or is it the 5th? But I'm forgetting a lot of things. His thoughts veered off on a tangent. So many things I can't remember since my accident. Like making hamburgers with my mother. Underdark spiders, Cthulhu meat. Yeah. Water spiders have tentacles. Oh. He remembered a lot about his mother. Too much, in fact. The alcohol binges, the beatings, the way she'd sit in front of the TV smoking crack and watching infomercial. The time the cops had to come to the house because she'd set the dog on fire. He'd loved that dog. Fluffy, his name had been. And there were times when he'd been sure that he was his only friend. The time she went into his closet and cut up all his clothes. The time she stole the money he'd saved up from his crappy evening job at the roller rink and spent it all on nail extensions. The way her fat legs bulged inside her spandex stirrup pants, so different from Penelope's slender frond-like limbs. The way she'd cut him down all the time, laughing at him, telling him he'd never amount to anything, never get anywhere in the world. Well, Ma, you aren't laughing now, he asserted to himself. I'm not a pimply wimp anymore. I'm a stud, a rich businessman with a fabulous house and a voluminous red-headed girlfriend and lots of friends. How does you like them hamburgers? I don't care what science calls we're talking about octopi. I don't care what weird science name they have, water spiders. Maybe it's early onset dementia. It's unclear. He'd always wanted to shout those words into her fat face, her ugly, fat, hateful face with its garish, caked-on makeup and glittery paste on eyelashes. But she died before any of the good stuff happened, and he'd never gotten to yell it into her fat face like he wanted. She'd choked to death on a cocktail frank while watching Infomercial. He'd found her there the next morning, stiff as beef jerky. I remember all that, his thoughts continued, squashing the red meat between his fingers like he was squashing his mother's throat. I remember it like it was yesterday, but not the hamburgers. I don't remember the hamburgers. Why? Why? Sweetie, is your okay? Came Penelope Urbain's soft voice, sliding into his tortured thoughts like a cool shaft of evening rain into the fiery heart of hell. You look like you're trying to crush it or something, she exclaimed worriedly. I try, Barentor. I try to give you some good Shatner-esque acting. I feel like this is what this book deserves. Bruce Lucent gusted a sigh that siphoned up from the bottom of his heart and hoisted his thoughts up out of the black sinking mineshaft of memory. Mom was dead. She'd never laugh at him again. That part of his life was over. He didn't have to think about her now. Who cared if he couldn't remember the hamburgers? He'd learned how to make them himself. Yeah, Ma, he affirmed, a contemptuous smile squirming across his well-shaped lips. I learned it all myself. Even Shatner wouldn't read this. It's so hammy it can be served with a salad. I'd like my hamminess in a sandwich, perhaps with a little bit of mustard, perhaps. I think would be very nice. Howdy, folks, resounded a cheery voice from inside the house. We grilling yet? Isidore Trent came striding out onto the patio, his washboard abs tight as a drum underneath his skin-tight white t-shirt. His red hair in its ponytail hung down his strong, muscular back like the vibrant mane of a thoroughbred hose. This book makes Curlin wants to die. I don't even know what's happening with body parts here. Isidore, cried Penelope, her soft tones vibrating joyfully. Is it you? One and the same, Isidore cried. It's so good to see you. Great to see you too, Pen, Isidore exclaimed, turning to Bruce. Say, Bruce, great patties. Bruce Lucent's head gave a stiff nod. He didn't like the way Penelope had said hello to Isidore. Why was she so glad to see him? She hardly knew him, or at least he thought she hardly knew him. Guess I'll get these on the grill, he informed. The two of them didn't seem to notice. Opening the grill, he put the tray down on the table beside it and put the patties on the grill. They hissed and spattered from the grill while behind his back, Isidore and Penelope were talking about vegetables. What's your favorite, Pen? Isidore wanted to know. Oh, I don't know, Penelope responded breathily. I think maybe lettuce or a broccoli. I like them to be green. Bruce flipped the sputtering, they are chopping broccoli! They're chopping broccoli! It was hose, not horse. It's true. By the way, I'm going to sing that song today. I'm going to do it. Bruce flipped the spluttering patties on the grill with an expert flick of his strong wrist. Inside his chest, his heart seemed to splutter too. Why were they talking about vegetables? He wondered darkly. Well, Penelope was a vegetarian. but he'd never known that Isidore cared about things like that. I'm an artichoke man myself, Isidore declared. Give me a good artichoke anytime. You know, his confident voice kicked down a notch. It's the way you have to peel them, one leaf after another. By the time you get down to the heart, the soft, warm, luscious, gleaming heart, you're ready. Really ready. Isidore, Penelope fluttered with her soft voice. I didn't know you were so poetic. There's lots of things you don't know about me, Pen, Isidore asserted confidently. Lots of things. She's cold as ice. Thank you, Cher. I appreciate the reference. And the feeling, oh, was so nice. I want artichokes and bacon now, too. I want them too. This is wrong. But Bruce's thoughts told him it was all going wrong, and he didn't know why. Bruce Lucent piled the now overcooked patties back onto the tray and carried them over to the patio table, where Isidore and Penelope were now laughing heartily at something Isidore had said. He banged the tray down on the table, the glass making a ringing sound that echoed the ringing that was sounding in his ears. A ringing of fury. A ringing of despair. He was losing her, but he knew it. Last night had been an illusion. Some brief spurt of happiness, that was all. It had meant anything, not to her. It was all going wrong. There, he growled, his tone of voice betraying his deep-seated anger. Seated. The burgers are cooked. Penelope drew back from his rough behavior, her lovely face shaping itself into puzzled lines. Honey, she ventured, you sound so angry. I'm not angry, Bruce denied. Pulling out his wrought iron patio chair with a clatter, he hurled himself down onto it, his actions contrapunting his words. He shoved the tray toward them. Go on, eat them. Isidore surged to his feet, his rock-hard muscles rippling and his red tail bouncing. I don't think Pen wants to, he barked. Oh, no? Bruce shot back. And how would you know? Because. Isidore tilted forward, his eyes clutching Bruce's like pincers, his tone low and menacing. I know she's a vegetarian, which you, my friends, seem to have forgotten. Penelope let out a soft gasp. Bruce sat like a statue, turned to stone, feeling despair engulf him like a black blanket of horror, dragging itself all over all his senses. Isidore is right, he acknowledged to himself in heart-rendering misery. I did forget. It's all my fault. Ready to go, Pen? Isidore demanded masterfully. I guess so, she hesitated. Isidore gave Penelope his arm, his rock-hard biceps bulging under the sleeve of his white t-shirt like potatoes in a flour sack. Hesitatingly, she took it. Together they strode out of the patio and vanished into the night, leaving Bruce sitting forlornly at the table, staring at the hamburger patties on their tray, smoking like the charred ashes of his dreams, while inside his head he was listening to his mother's laughter. Yeah. Yep. Unless they're steam burgers get a pass. The melodrama, right? All this needs is to be acted out like a telenovela. That's what I need. I need no, not a flour sack, not a potato sack. Right? I don't know why there are potatoes in a flour sack. I don't know why. I cannot answer that question as to why there were potatoes in a flour sack. I don't know. Let me check to see how long chapter 12 is. We can't do chapter 12, I don't think, before... Hey, DSB, are you here in chat? I want to know. I need more audiobooks. I need more audiobooks like Atlanta Nights is what I need. That's clearly what I need, because Oh, good. All right. So it is 1921, and I don't think we have time to do chapter 12 because we. Wait a minute. Oh. Sorry. So we read chapter 11 and chapter 12, right? That's what just happened. We read chapter 11 and chapter 12. And I was like, oh, what's the next chapter? I was just looking at the chapter title, and it was like, oh, the reception was a disaster for Callie, but it is also labeled chapter 12. So there are two chapter 12s. They're different chapters, but there are two of them. And we're going to read the second chapter 12 next Wednesday is, I think, what's going to happen. They were both, yeah. So what's going to happen right now is I'm going to go to break so I can go and grab DSB and pull her up on Zoom, and then we're going to go and do gamer stories. So everybody go and get some water, especially if it's hot and humid where you are at right now, and we will be back in like 5 or so that we can start gamer stories. Chapter 2, chapter harder. Chapter 12. 2 Electric Boogaloo. All right, we will be back in about 5 or so minutes with gamer stories. So be right back.